will they have for each other? Find out as we weigh in now.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. From the four corners of the world, to the four corners of this ring, the fight starts now!
Touchdowns.
How do you like it?
Off the shoulder. So aggressive, so focused.
Look at these two guys! Still the undisputed champion of the world!
It is a Friday afternoon in the desert as we get set to hit the scales, and we saw a bit of fireworks up and down the card at yesterday's press conference. So what will we see today as fighters weigh in ahead of Rodriguez-Edwards coming up tomorrow night on DAZN? Good afternoon, everybody. It's Justin Shackle welcoming you back inside Desert Diamond Arena here in Glendale for Matchroom Boxing's official weigh-in ahead of Rodriguez-Edwards. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 local on DAZN. It'll be the WBO flyweight champion of the world, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, squaring off against the IBF flyweight champion, Sonny Edwards, in what figures to be the true definition of a 50-50 unification battle. Bam Rodriguez, 18-0, 11 KOs. He has displayed the speed, the power, the footwork that has made him into a two-division champion. But he says Sonny Edwards is his stiffest test to date. His state-of-the-art ring IQ, a big reason why Sonny Edwards is one of the best pound-for-pound British boxers going in the sport today. Taking a look at the undercard we have for you leading up to the main event. Beginning on Before the Bell, coming up at 5 Eastern, 3 Mountain. Joe McGrail makes his U.S. debut against Phoenix local Edgar Ortiz Jr. Robert Garcia-trained Albert Gonzalez is in the ring against Alexis Molina. Junaid Boston also making his U.S. debut against Gordy Rust II. Those two had some words and other things in yesterday's press conference. And Arturo Cardenas going up against Carlos Mujica in our fourth and final match on Before the Bell. Leads us into the main card at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain on DAZN. It'll start off with Joe McGrail's older brother, Peter McGrail, is coming to the U.S. He is in the ring against Detroit's Jericho O'Quinn. Galliafy will look to make another WBC International Flyweight title defense as he takes on Rocco Santamaro. And then it is a WBA Super Bantamweight title eliminator, MJ Akhmadaliev, back in the ring. He will take on the undefeated Kevin Gonzalez, the winner likely getting a crack at an undisputed title fight at Super Bantamweight. Then it is the main event. Jesse Bam Rodriguez, Sonny Edwards going at it for the unified flyweight title. The WBO and IBF straps on the line tomorrow night. Both say that this is their toughest opponent to date. You will see terrific skills inside the ring going up against one another. This is a high-level chess match. A marksman going up against a matador as Bam Rodriguez, the youngest active world champion in boxing, will put his title on the line and look to take another belt against Sonny Edwards as he makes his U.S. debut. We saw them bickering back and forth at the press conference yesterday. We saw Bam finally lay some words into Sonny Edwards, though Sonny still with that high level of showmanship and doing a terrific job selling this fight. They weighed in, or they're about to weigh in, and we will get this fight official. Have a fight for you tomorrow night as Edwards and Rodriguez will go at it in one of the most anticipated fights to end the year here on DAZN. So without further ado, let's get this undercard weighed in. To the scales, to the stage we go. Here's David Diamante.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome everybody here today to the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona, USA, for the official weigh-in for a big night of World Championship professional boxing taking place here on Saturday night. Now, the whole card is being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing, and it'll go out live around the world exclusively on DAZN. We're sponsored by Bet Online, Stagefront, and O'Reilly Parts, the professional parts people. Ladies and gentlemen, what a card we have. We've got 8 fights on the card. We've got 3 title fights. We've got 1 world title eliminator. And at the top of the bill, We've got Bam Rodriguez. We got Showtime Sonny Edwards, both undefeated as they go toe-to-toe for supremacy in the 112-pound weight division, IBF and WBO Flyweight Championship of the world. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring the fighters up to the stage so we can start the weigh-in so they can face the scale and face each other. Our first contest, 6 rounds in the featherweight division. Now making his way to the stage, professional record, 8 victories, 4 defeats, 2 draws, with 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, please welcome Edgar Ortiz Jr. Little toys for tots, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Now making his way to the stage, professional record thus far perfect, 7-0, 3 knockouts from Liverpool, England, Joe McGrail. Now to the scale, Edgar Ortiz Jr. 123 bang on for Edgar Ortiz Jr., 123 pounds bang on. Now to the scale, the Scouser Joe McGrail. $125.8 for Joe McGrail.
You see Joe McGrail and Edgar Ortiz Jr. dropping in a toy into the bin. Fans were welcome to bring an unwrapped gift for the Toys for Tots donation here at Desert Diamond Arena as McGrail and Ortiz face off 6 rounds to start us off on Before the Bell. Coming up at 5 Eastern, 3 Mountain here on DAZN.
McGrail versus Ortiz, 6 rounds, featherweights, matchroom boxing, live on DAZN from Glendale, Arizona.
And Joe McGrail looking to move to 8-0 as he makes his U.S. debut. The 21-year-old younger brother of Peter McGrail, both trained by Paul Stevenson, taking on Edgar Ortiz, who's trying to snap a 3-match winless streak as they go at it at 126 pounds. Joe and his brother Pito both fighting out of the Red Triangle Gym over in Liverpool. This is a new experience for some of these British fighters coming over and making their U.S. debut. A lot of butterflies. They say that the dream is always to come over and fight the big fights here in the States. Let's get weighed in for our second fight. Back to David we go.
All right, thank you, Justin. We're going to stay in the 126-pound division as we go 6 rounds in the featherweight division. Now making his way to the stage, professional record, 9 wins, 2 defeats, 1 draw, with 5 wins coming by way of knockout. Peleando fuera Lomas del Paraíso, Guadalajara, Jalisco, México. Damas y caballeros, Alexis Picudo Molina. And his opponent now making his way to the stage, undefeated in his career as a professional, with a record of 6 wins, no defeats, 2 of his wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Moreno Valley, California. Please welcome Albert Chop Chop Gonzalez. Now to the scale, Picudo Alexis Molina. 126.2 for Alexis Molina. Now to the scale, the undefeated Albert Chop Chop Gonzalez. 127.2 for Chop Chop, 127.2 for Albert Gonzalez.
You see Albert Gonzalez trying to win his 4th fight of 2023. Molina 9-2-1, looking to pick up his first win in the U.S. This is his 2nd time fighting in the U.S. Also his 2nd time on a Matchroom U.S. show. fought Robert Greenwood to a majority draw on the Canelo-Callum Smith undercard in San Antonio back in December of 2020. He also appeared on the Kyoguchi-Bermudez undercard in June of last year. Gonzalez putting his 6-0 record on the line, 21 years of age, turned pro 2 years ago. Since that time, Gonzalez has lost exactly 1 round combined on the judges' scorecards.
Gonzalez versus Molina, 6 rounds featherweights, Matchroom Boxing live on DAZN from Glendale, Arizona.
So 2 fights at 126 pounds, starting us off tomorrow night. Featherweight division on display. Next up, it is Junaid Boston and Gordy Rust II. There were fireworks at the press conference between these two yesterday. Let's see what happens when they weigh in.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go 8 rounds in the super welterweight division. Now making his way to the stage, undefeated, 6-0, all 6 wins, coming by way of knockout. He fights out of the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the G-Baby, Gordy Rust II. Rust II. And his opponent now making his way to the stage, also perfect professional record, 7-0, 6 of his 7 wins coming by way of knockout. He's the 2-time amateur national champion. He fights out of Rotherham in South Yorkshire, England. Please welcome the star boy, Junaid Boston. Boston. Out of the scale, G-Baby, Gordy Rust II. $155.2 for Gordy Rust II. And now to the scale, the undefeated star boy, Junaid Boston. Also 155.2, identical, 155 and a quarter for Junaid Boston.
Boston 7-0, 6 knockouts. Russ 6-0 with 6 knockouts. He has stopped each one of his opponents, including 3 in the first round as they face off here.
Surprised you found that one. Breathe. Into the front, boys.
2 undefeated fighters, Junaid Boston, Gordy Rust II. 8 rounds, super welterweights. Matchroom Boxing live on DAZN from Glendale, Arizona.
Hey, breathe. Don't worry, you're all right, man. We'll find tomorrow. Yeah, fine.
So a subdued and distanced stare down between Junaid Boston and Gordy Rust II as they get ready for their 8-round clash tomorrow night. 3rd of 4 fights coming up on Before the Bell. And then it'll lead us into our 4th and final contest on Before the Bell. Arturo Cardenas, another Robert Garcia disciple. We've heard great things about him. 11-0-1 with 7 knockouts going up against Carlos Mujica, who impressed back in our Detroit show back in July. Fighters are ready to weigh in. Let's go back to David.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go 8 rounds in the super bantamweight division right now. Coming to the stage, 8-3 with 3 knockouts. He fights out of Caracas, Venezuela. Please welcome Carlos El Pirata Mujica. Mujica. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. He is undefeated in his campaign as a professional with a record of 11 wins, no defeats. He has 1 draw with 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Presentando de Cejuayo, Michoacán, Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, Arturo Cardenas. Cardenas. Now to the scale, El Pirata, Carlos Mojica. $122 bang on the super bantamweight limit right there, 122 pounds for Mojica. El invicto de Michoacán, damas y caballeros, Arturo Cardenas. 123.4 for Cardenas.
Cardenas going for his 10th consecutive victory, trying to improve to 5-1 in U.S. fights. Mojica, meanwhile, trying to redeem himself after that tough 10-round defeat against Jericho Quinn in July. And we'll put it on the line tomorrow to close out our Before the Bell show.
Cardenas versus Mojica, 8-round super bantamweights, matchroom boxing, live on DAZN from Glendale, Arizona.
It's 8 rounds at 122 pounds to close out Before the Bell. Then we will start the main card with 10 rounds at 122 pounds. WBA Continental Super Bantamweight title on the line as Peter McGrail makes his U.S. debut against Jericho O'Quinn. That starts off the main card again at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain. McGrail 8-0, O'Quinn 16-1-1 as McGrail gets ready to take on his most experienced opponent to date. Let's go back to the scales.
All right, thanks, Justin. And I just got to say, I cannot wait for this fight. The whole card's great, but this fight specifically has got me very excited, as Mr. Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing is proud to present 10 rounds for the WBA Continental Super Bantamweight Championship. Now making his way to the stage, his professional record, 16 victories, 1 defeat, 1 draw, with 8 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Detroit, Michigan, here is the Great Lakes King, Jericho O'Quinn. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. He's a southpaw with a perfect professional record. 8 fights, 8 victories, 5 of his 8 wins coming by way of knockout. He represents the Everton Red Triangle Club, of course, fighting out of Liverpool, England. Please welcome Peter Blood McGrail. Now to the scale, the Great Lakes King, Jericho O'Quinn. £121 for Jericho O'Quinn, 121 pounds for the Great Lakes King. And now to the scale, the undefeated Liverpudlian Peter Blood McGrail. A trim and ready 121.6 pounds for Peter Blood McGrail. 121.6.
This is a terrific matchup on paper, like David was saying, and also it was a terrific back and forth between these two at the press conference yesterday. Let's see what happens here as they face off for the final time.
Peter Blood McGrail, Jericho the Great Lakes King O'Quinn. 10 rounds for the WBA Continental Super Bantamweight Championship. Matchroom Boxing live on DAZN from Glendale, Arizona.
That's going to kick off our main card on DAZN. Up next, it'll be the U.S. return of Gal Yafai taking on Rocco Santamaro, who's 22-2 with 6 knockouts. Yafai 5-0, 4 KOs. He's had 5 pro fights so far. All have been scheduled for at least 10 rounds thus far. He just turned 31 on Monday, and you can bet World Championship aspirations are right in front of Gal Yafai, perhaps taking on the winner of our main event coming up tomorrow night. Tomorrow he will try to defend his WBC International Flyweight title as he takes on Santamaro, who's trying to avoid back-to-back defeats. He suffered his second pro defeat earlier this season, and that broke a string of 9 consecutive wins for Rocco Santamaro. So Gal Yafai, Rocco Santamaro, going to be weighing in a few moments, but up to the stage, making a beeline for the stage. We appreciate that, Eddie. Eddie Hearn joining us here, stage side, over at Desert Diamond Arena. All right, is there a hold up here?
Apparently, Jesse just running late over from the hotel, so they brought me up here to fill some time with you, Justin.
Very nice. All right, let's quickly tie up the before the belt card, because you have 2 Brits coming up making their U.S. debuts. Let's start with Peter McGrail. Older brother, Joe McGrail, rather. His older brother signed with Matchroom as well. Joe McGrail, though, when you have 2 brothers going on, both want to impress, maybe both want to outdo one another as well. What do you see from a young Joe McGrail?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's always special when you get 2 fighters making their American debut on the same night, and 2 guys that have got massive support from the city of Liverpool. Joe, very good fighter, tenacious young kid, aggressive, didn't quite have the amateur career of Peter McGrail. Not many ever have. He was arguably Britain's most successful amateur as well. But 2 very talented fighters, great gym with the Everton Triangle Club as well, and 2 fighters that are going on and not a million miles away from challenging for big domestic titles already, and this is a massive night for them. All
right, Junaid Boston, Gordy Russ up there. Some words were exchanged, not as many as yesterday.
Good.
What were they? Yes, very good, very good. What were they saying up there?
Just that, he says he's got nothing to say. He's going to show you tomorrow night, and I'm glad that those 2 were separated wide enough to avoid what we saw yesterday. But it means a lot, and this is a very tough fight for Junaid Boston. Gordy Russ, who's fighting in America. I didn't know his uncle is Sugar Hill. He's from Detroit, well schooled, 6 wins, 6 knockouts. And Junaid Boston, 7 wins, 6 knockouts. I mean, one of Britain's brightest young talents. It's very unusual to see a prospect thrown in America on an American show with a guy who's 6-0 with 6 knockouts, and that's the confidence that Grant Smith and we have as well in Junaid Boston. I believe if he shines tomorrow night, it's going to raise his profile to a level where he can start looking at headlining back in Rotherham or Sheffield for domestic titles. Very talented kid.
Yeah, without looking further at maybe at the end result of tomorrow's match between Boston and Russ, what can U.S. fans expect from Junaid?
I mean, they call him Starboy, flashy. Someone said the other day, I saw, they talked about a mix between like a Kid Galahad, Nazim Hamed and a Kell Brook. Someone that is technically very sound, but someone that's flashy, someone that's got sharp hands, heavy hands as well, and someone that's very young. But this kind of experience is going to aid you in a good way. It's going to give you the experience and, take him forward to the bigger nights. But it's a massive platform for him tomorrow night. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for every Brit on this card because massive opportunities, and the before the bell segment tomorrow is really fun. Cardenas looks like a really, really exciting talent. Going to have a lot of support from Robert Garcia's gym as well. Like you said, Joe McGrail, Junaid Boston, and many more.
Yeah, I was going to say, Robert Garcia has himself a really busy night tomorrow, especially on Before the Bell. He's got Albert Gonzalez, he's got Arturo Cardenas. What have you heard about those 2 specifically?
If they're in the Robert Garcia gym, they're going to be a talent. He doesn't take fighters on that he doesn't feel have the ability to go all the way. They're very well matched as well. Carlos Mojica, who we saw on the Detroit show, he's a real handful. As is, of course, Espino, who boxed on a Canelo Alvarez card. He's very, very dangerous as well, and they're really good fights. The Before the Bell segment's becoming very, very popular because Kevin Rooney is doing a great job in matching these guys in deep, and that's what you want. If you're a special talent, we want to see you in real fights, and that's what's going to bring you through.
Yeah, Mojica doing a great job against Jericho O'Quinn in Detroit over the summer. You're going to see O'Quinn going up against Peter McGrail. Also coming up in a few moments, we'll get the weigh-in for Gal Yafai. Where is Gal at this moment in terms of not physically, but where is he in terms of the possible path toward world title contention?
Yeah, I think that he's still in the infancy of his professional career, but someone that wanted to move very quickly. Don't forget his first fight, his pro debut, was a 10-round championship fight. So this is a big step up for him, but also a step up that I feel kind of bridges the gap between the domestic fights he's been in. Don't forget his last fight was a domestic fight, and it was a mismatch. It ended in a round, and he's shown that he's already a world-class fighter. So this is going to give him the experience and bridge the gap between where he's been fighting and the world champions. Sonny, you know, and Jesse are that elite level of the division, but they're the guys that Galal Yafai is chasing. You know, and he's already said, I don't just want to win, I want to make a statement. He's done that. He's been very aggressive. He's looked very heavy-handed. I have no doubt Galal Yafai will go on and be a world championship, and I think you may see it as early as the back end of 2024.
All right, Eddie, as we take you through this pause here at the weigh-in, we're going to touch on a few topics outside of tomorrow night, especially next weekend in Saudi Arabia, where the Day of Reckoning arrives.
Live on the DAZN pay-per-view, December 23rd. Day of Reckoning. The sun is rising as the biggest names in boxing. Joshua versus Wilder. Wilder versus Parker. Headline a history-making boxing card. Witness the furnace of fight night. Reckoning is in the ring. Live on the DAZN pay-per-view, December 23rd. Buy now at DAZN.com.
December 23rd, Day of Reckoning coming up next Saturday. Of course, tomorrow night, it is Rodriguez Edwards. As we welcome you back here to the weigh-in show, we have Sonny's older brother, Charlie Edwards, Eddie Hearn, Justin Shackle. All right, we're waiting on Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Complete art of war tactic, right?
Well, I know.
Does this actually affect the fighter?
I mean, look, you know, we know, everyone knows, this is the actual showcase weigh, and these guys have weighed in earlier. So very unusual to see a guy late. Sonny's got Charlie's got his own, you know, perception of why, but who knows? I mean, there's been a lot of mind games over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, 100%. I think it could be mind games, keeping Sonny waiting here to get on the scales. We see yesterday it was very much heated words to Sonny towards Bam, so he might just think, you know what, now it's time for you to wait. You know what I mean? I'm going to be a bit of the playing the game sort of thing.
All right, so as this is happening to your brother right now, take us inside Sonny's mind. What could he possibly be thinking in this moment?
How can anyone take anyone inside Sonny's mind? Go on,
He's
Charlie,
got a
you
mind
should
of his
know
own.
best.
He's got a mind of his own, but I think Sonny will just be sitting there laughing, to be honest. He's aware of it all. He's aware of all the mind games. He's the king of the mind games. So he's probably sitting there. He's probably got his own few lines that he's going to say why he's late. So we'll wait and see what Sonny says.
I'm glad you brought that up, because when we take a look at the in-ring X's and O's for tomorrow night, Sonny said before, he's never been put in a position against his own will. If he's against the ropes, if he's backed into a corner, it's because he wants to be there, and then he'll decide when he wants to take himself out of there. Can he afford to do something like that against a caliber fighter like Bam Rodriguez?
I mean, I believe Sonny knows what he's doing at all times in the ring. He sets traps and does things to lead the opponent in. But I believe he won't be there for Bam. He's too clever for that. He'll be out of the way. He'll be making him miss, making him reach, making him fall over his front foot, and make it an awkward night's work in there. I believe the Sonny that beat Mifale Maruti and the performance he put in there will be the similar sort of performance that he will put on against Bam, and he will make it an easy night work for himself in there, and he won't take them risks.
Sonny has always talked about how, hey, I have power, I just haven't really had to use it. I can choose to use it, and he said that it's there in his training, it's there in his sparring. How would you grade his power? Because I know you've been one of his main sparring partners over the years.
100% he's got power. He hits hard. He does. If you stand there with him and he stands and plants his feet, he hits hard. So it's whether he chooses to. In a fight like this, why take risks? You know, you're in the boxing game. One punch can change the whole fight. So don't take them risks. Don't give him the opportunity. Bam would want Sonny to stay there and want him to plant his feet so he can create the angles and let his punches go. You wouldn't play to someone's strengths. You bring out their weaknesses, and pulling Bam over his front foot and making him chase the fight is going to be one of Bam's weaknesses and one of Sonny's strengths, so he's going to play to that.
I would say with Bam Rodriguez, what we've seen outside the ring, the demeanor, it's authentic Bam. Laid back, calm, collective. Do you feel like your brother finally got under his skin yesterday?
Sonny gets under everyone's skin. That's what he does, and he's a king of it. But yeah, I can see that he has rattled Bam. You could see Bam bit back a little bit yesterday. Could that affect Bam in a bad way? Most definitely. Could it affect him even more in a good way? Most definitely too. So we ain't going to know and we ain't going to find out until Saturday night. But listen, it's the best versus the best. They know this boxing game inside out. They're aware of it. They've seen it done before, all these mind games. And on Saturday night is the only way we're going to find out.
All right, we've talked about your brother enough. Let's talk about Charlie Edwards here. Let's talk about a subject that you want to probably talk about. What is next for you coming up?
I'm currently a free promotional agent, Mr. Eddie Earn, yeah, I'm managing myself now, so I've got no one in the way blocking me, no one messing up stuff, so I can guide my own career. And next year I want to be in the biggest of biggest fights. Being here over in America on the stage like this is big time boxing, and I believe I belong there. I work too hard. I've dedicated myself in the whole of my life for boxing, and even the dark stage and the things that have been taken out of my hand, I've continued to possess and keep moving forward. And I'm looking forward to getting my shot back, and I'm ready to take it with both hands.
Charlie, I appreciate you coming up here, spending some time with us. Former champion at 112 pounds, and good luck to your brother. And are you nervous? Do you get nervous for your brother?
I learned to stop getting nervous, but this is, like I said, the best versus the best. Bam's a very dangerous fighter, and of course I'm nervous for him. He's my brother. I love him dearly, and this is the hurt business. Anything can happen in there, but I'm in full confidence that Sonny will put on a punch-perfect performance and he'll get the unanimous points win. Let's hope the judging is fair.
All right, Charlie, appreciate you coming
Thank
up
you.
here. Edwards and Rodriguez coming up tomorrow night on DAZN, part of a packed weekend beginning tonight in Orlando, where Jake Paul returns to the ring.
Fight a real boxer. Fight a pro boxer. Problem Child is back, and I'm coming to make a statement. Andre August, 10-1. Someone is getting knocked out.
Back inside Desert Diamond Arena, Justin Shackle now joined with Junaid Boston, who has weighed in. We're waiting out the pause in our weigh-in show as we count down toward Rodriguez Edwards tomorrow night on DAZN. All right, Junaid, take us through what happened yesterday on the floor after the preliminary press conferences with Gordy. What happened on the floor?
He stepped out of line, and then the conclusion to it was that he got put in his ass, fell over, and he had to get picked up, and he was having to pick up his phone and then pick up his slider, and that's what I let him know there.
And you were limited with words in the face-off this afternoon. What was he saying to you? And what were you saying back?
Very little, if I'm honest with you. Oh, nothing meaningful. I was just looking at him, his heart was beating out his chest. He's clearly nervous, but end of the day, he'll be alright for now. Fight's not even happening yet, so God forbid what it's going to feel like tomorrow.
So we're about a little over 24 hours away from you making your US debut. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I came in April. In that time, I watched the Tank fight, spent some time out in California with Manny Robles, with Dalton, obviously, and I remember thinking it made the dream come alive. A lot of English fighters, we always say we're going to have a fight in America, but it's almost not a visualisation, it's almost a dream because we've not been here to see what it is and what it's about. Coming there made it a bit more of a reality, and then fast forward a few months, I'm here. So now I'm really glad to be here, glad to be on Sonny's undercard, and God willing, we both get good two performances.
You know, we always hear about British fighters coming over here to train, get some time in the United States. What's the most common takeaway do you feel like British fighters bring back with them to the UK when they come and train here in the US?
I mean, I can't say it for all, but from my experience of it all is that conditioning plays a major part. Their conditioning in the sense of the weather, the air, everything like that you've got to take into consideration, and if anything, they've probably got a better training facilities to train here. Do you know what I mean? I feel like America's a few steps ahead in that sense, but I mean with the English, we're getting there, man, and obviously we're ready to take over here. We've got 4 fighters, God willing 4 wins.
I know I was talking to you earlier in this week, but you just mentioned Sonny Edwards. Obviously, you're all trained by Grant Smith, and it wasn't too long ago where you were well below 154 pounds. You were rolling in the lighter weights as well. Take me through the growth spurt, so to speak, that has brought you up to 100.
I mean, it just took a while for my balls to drop. If I'm being honest with you, it took a while. better late than never. But yeah, I just went through the weights gradually from the age of 17 onwards. I just shot up, and yes, and now I find myself in the super welterweight division, and I'm here to stay and make a name for myself.
So you come here to the U.S. to close out your 2023 campaign. 2024, realistically, you factor in the business part of the sport. I know you don't try and focus on that, but it's inevitable there. Where do you realistically want to be as you move along in 2024?
Of course, I'm not going to look past Gordy. As much of a helmet he is, he deserves respect in the sense of making sure I get past him. But if I'm going to have to look at 2024, you heard the main man himself, Eddie Hearn. We're looking at titles, and then God willing, at the back end of the year, headlining, and that's a dream come true. So I'm looking forward to it all.
Where do you want to headline?
Definitely, man. Definitely. I'm a star. Now I want to be the main star. It's touching time.
All right, we heard Eddie mention your Starboy nickname quickly for our U.S. fans. Who gave you the Starboy nickname? How'd that come about?
Well, I'm the youngest in the gym. I'm 21. The rest of the lads are a lot older. So it was just almost a given. It was like, oh, Starboy's here. And then on the comments, a lot of people were putting it. So it was almost a given. Like, I'm not vain enough to give it myself the nickname. So it was quite fitting. You never know. Give it a few years, I might have to change it.
Well, we will see Starboy in action tomorrow night on DAZN here in the U.S. He makes his U.S. debut against Gordy Russ on Before the Bell. We are ready to continue with the weigh-in show. Galliafy, Rocco Santamaro are ready. Let's go back to David Diamante.
Thank you, Justin. And as he said, from Glendale, Arizona, USA, in the Desert Diamond Arena, the official weigh-in continues as Mr. Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing, in association with Marv Nations Promotions, are proud to present 10 rounds for the WBC International Flyweight Championship. Now making his way to the stage, his professional record, 22 victories. He has 2 defeats, with 6 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Hesperia, California. Please welcome the SoCal Kid, Rocco Santamaro. And his opponent now making his way to the stage, his professional record, a perfect one. 5 fights, 5 victories, with 4 of his 5 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Birmingham, England. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the 2020 Olympic gold medalist. He is the reigning, defending, and undefeated WBC International Flyweight Champion, Galliafy. Now to the scale, the SoCal Kid, Rocco Santamaro. 111.4 for Rocco Santamaro, 111.4. And now to the scale, the undefeated Galliafy. 111.8 for Galliafy.
There you see 36-year-old Rocco Santamaro and Galliafy coming up to face off. This is going to be a good one at 112 pounds as Galliafy looks to defend the WBC International Flyweight title.
Galliafy, Rocco Santamaro, 10 rounds for the WBC International Flyweight Championship. Matchroom Boxing in association with Marv Nations. Live on DAZN from Glendale, Arizona.
Galliafy is looking to make it 5 knockouts in 6 pro fights. You're going to also like the story of Rocco Santamaro and the adversity of what he's gone through to continue his career, keep this going, and put himself in position for a regional belt. Again, 22-2 with 6 knockouts, a 14-year pro, certainly bringing a boat of experience in front of Galliafy on Saturday night. And that'll bring us to our co-feature WBA title eliminator, MJ Akhmadaliev and Kevin Gonzalez.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to weigh in the chief support of the evening as Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing, in association with World of Boxing and Fresh Productions, are proud to present 12 rounds for the WBA Super Bantamweight World Title Eliminator. Now making his way to the stage, he is undefeated in his campaign as a professional with a record of 26 victories, no defeats, 1 draw, and 13 wins coming by way of knockout. He's a southpaw fighting out of Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico, Kevin El Chacal Gonzalez. And his opponent now making his way to the stage, also a southpaw. Professional record, 11 victories, only 1 defeat, 8 of his 11 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Namangan, Uzbekistan. He is the 2016 Olympic bronze medalist. He is the former unified WBA and IBF Super Bantamweight champion of the world, Uzbek Olonar Jahon Championa Murajan MJ Ahmad Ali. Now to the scale, El Chacal, Kevin Gonzalez. $121 for the undefeated fighter from Sinaloa. 121 pounds. And now to the scale, Murajan MJ Ahmad Ali. $121.6 from MJ Murajan Ahmad Ali.
There you see the 29-year-old southpaw out of Uzbekistan making his comeback after falling to Tapalas in April. Again, a win for either of these men will put them right in line for a potential undisputed title fight. This is Ahmad Aliyev's second fight since last June, his 3rd straight time competing on a Bam Rodriguez undercard.
Champ. Let's go, champ. Champ. All right, baby.
MJ versus El Chacal, 2 southpaws. Murajan Ahmad Ali, Kevin Gonzalez. 12 rounds for the WBA Super Bantamweight World Title Eliminator. Matchroom Boxing in association with World of Boxing and Fresh Productions.
Ahmad Aliyev and Kevin Gonzalez going at it in the co-feature. I think a question that's on the mind of a lot of people is how fast can Ahmad Aliyev start against Kevin Gonzalez tomorrow night? Many people feel that's what plagued him in that defeat against Tapalas back in April. He won a lot of the second half of the fight, but came up short in that decision loss in San Antonio. So Ahmad Aliyev trying to begin the climb back to being a world title holder. He will be in the ring against Kevin Gonzalez for a WBA Super Bantamweight title eliminator tomorrow night on DAZN. The co-feature that brings us into our main event. Jesse Bam Rodriguez, Sonny Edwards go at it for the WBO and IBF Flyweight Championships.
16th of December, Arizona, we go to work.
Jesse Rodriguez against Sonny Edwards is just a fantastic fight.
You now have one piece of the 112-pound crown. What do you want to do next?
Sonny Edwards, that's the only option.
I want to see an undisputed champion in the flyweight division.
Sign the contract.
Bam Rodriguez is probably the biggest puncher in the division.
That's the reason he signed with Matchroom and with DAZN.
I think this is genuinely as elite as elite can get.
The big unification to come against Jesse Rodriguez.
He's going to have to be switched under every single second of every single round.
Bam Rodriguez, where are you?
Bam Rodriguez putting on the performance of a lifetime. Oh, lovely long left hook. All in. Sinker swift.
This one, the best fights of the year, pound for pound.
One of the cooler things about the promo leading into this fight is that Bam Rodriguez in his win over Christian Gonzalez in April and Sonny Edwards in his win over Andres Campos in June, they called out one another. They were ready to go. You saw Sonny say, Bam, where are you? Sign the contract. So they are ready to go for tomorrow night. Here you see Bam Rodriguez about to drop a toy in the bin. Sonny Edwards is still right now not near the stage, so we will have the weigh-in momentarily for this main event. But it is 1 versus 2. Any way you slice it, whether you have Bam or Sonny at 1, the other is at number 2. And Sonny Edwards looking to show why many consider him the top pound-for-pound British fighter going today. Rodriguez was also looking to improve to 5-0 here in world title fights since defeating Carlos Cuadras. It went then to Sor Rungvisai and Israel Gonzalez, Christian Gonzalez. He's trying to move to 5-0. But one thing that Sonny Edwards has stated, has maintained, Bam Rodriguez has never beaten a champion. He's taken vacant titles, but he's yet to dethrone a champion. Could that happen tomorrow night? Of course, the Before the Bell card kicking off the action here in Glendale. It will start over at 5 Eastern, 3 local time. We saw Joe McGrail and Edgar Ortiz both weigh in. They will kick it off as we have 4 bouts coming at you. And starting with a pair of featherweight bouts, both 6 rounds. McGrail Ortiz, then Albert Chop Chop Gonzalez in the ring against Mexico's Alexis Molina. Gonzalez 6-0, trained just like Bam Rodriguez under Robert Garcia. Molina 9-2-1 with 5 knockouts. And then it is Junaid Boskin, Gordy Russ II, both undefeated fighters, both with terrific knockout power. What will be on display in their 8-round clash at 154 pounds? And then the 4th and final bout on Before the Bell, Arturo Cardenas 11-0-1, 7 knockouts, going up against Carlos Mujica, who is 8-3 with 3 stoppages. The main card will begin at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain. Peter McGrail, Joe's older brother, 8-0, 5 knockouts, going up against Jericho O'Quinn. The WBA Continental Super Bantamweight title is on the line there. 10 rounds between McGrail and O'Quinn. The Detroit native, certainly the most experienced and most difficult opponent that McGrail has faced to date. Gallia 5 trying to make another defense of his WBC International Flyweight title as he faces Rocco Santamaro. Those two weighing in moments ago. Yafai at 5-0. 4 knockouts back in the States competing as a pro. And for Santamaro, 22-2 with 6 knockouts. And then the co-feature, like we saw moments ago, MJ Akhmadaliev stepping in the ring with the undefeated Kevin Gonzalez, who's 26-0-1 with 13 KOs. Akhmadaliev 11-1, 8 knockouts. The former unified world champion at 122 pounds back in the ring for a WBA title eliminator. Then the main event, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, Sonny Edwards for the WBO and IBF flyweight world titles, all happening here in Glendale at Desert Diamond Arena. As we welcome you back, getting ready to weigh in for the main event, it's the 15-0 Dalton Smith along with Justin Shackle. Dalton, good to see you. And I know you've been in camp with Sonny. I know you're following him in support every step of the way here. Talking to him over the last couple of days, the hours leading up to the fight, what's going through the mind of Sonny Edwards? Take us inside.
Do you know what? Sonny's a character. You know, he's always hyped up, even for most fights, but especially for this one. You know, he's full of more energy. He's bouncing around. He can't wait for tomorrow night. Yeah, I know we're still waiting on him to weigh in, but yeah, full of energy, and you know, the whole team, good vibes.
You know, Sonny's been talking throughout the build-up. Ban has been his reserved self. What have you noticed, though, this week since all of us have gotten here to Arizona? Has it stayed the same, or do you think it's picked up a little bit?
I think it's been pretty much the same. Obviously, there's a bit more tension when it comes to fight week. You know, the fight's getting closer. But, you know, like Bam, he's a quiet guy. Maybe Sonny's got under his skin a little bit, but, you know, the main thing is we'll see tomorrow night.
When you're going up against opponents and they are talking at the level of a Sonny Edwards, what goes through your mind?
I mean, it's the big stage for them. You know, and for each of them winning these fights, you know, they're changing their lives, their families' lives, they're moving on to bigger and better things. So, you know, tomorrow night for them, it's everything.
Well, how would that affect you personally?
Oh, how would it affect me?
Yeah, if you're going up against an opponent who is able to talk as much as Sonny?
I mean, you've got to stay calm. At the end of the day, emotions are hard to control sometimes. And at the end of the day, you've got to control them. Make sure you're doing everything right for fight night, and just make sure you're cool, calm, collected, and make sure you get the job done. But like I say, every character is different.
That's what we are seeing right now from Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Calm, relaxed, ready to weigh in. I know I was talking with you off camera yesterday just about being here in the U.S. I know it's something that some of you British fighters, they always dream of the big moments, Vegas, the big nights there, the lights, all that stuff. Is it something that you guys talk about when you're coming up as youngsters, putting the time in the gym? What are those conversations like?
Fighting in the US, it's what us fighters dream of doing from young kids. You know, staying up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to watch the big fights. You know, the Mayweathers, the Ricky Hatton's, Joe Calzaghe's. For us, you know, that's what we dream of. And to be here now and, you know, witnessing my good friend, my teammate doing that, you know, that's what we're all chasing, and this is what boxing's about.
All right, so when can we expect you in the U.S., in the ring?
You know, very soon. Yeah. You know, I'm hoping Eddie can get me out here, get my name built here. And I know he's doing a great job with me, and I'm sure that'll happen very soon.
I know you were on hand for the Haney Prograis fight in a packed Chase Center over in San Francisco. Probably another event that you could add to that list that you were talking about moments ago. What was that atmosphere like for you?
You know, the atmosphere was good. I was there for the Ryan Garcia Tank fight as well this year also. And I mean, like you say, it's great being at a big fight night in the US. I always say the UK fans are the best, but you know, it's different over here. And you know, I can't wait to experience that myself and being a big fight, you know, for myself.
I know we were talking with Charlie Edwards moments before. Obviously, talking with you, talking with Junaid, you're closer in the trenches with Sonny. You're going through the meat grinder under Grant Smith here, so it's tough to naturally have that objective view. I understand that, but when you take a look at the X's and O's of this fight, so much is made up of who's going to be coming forward, who's going to be staying back. Sonny Edwards likely will be back on that back foot. No reason to change what got you here, right?
Yep.
What do you feel like we might discover that we haven't seen before from Sonny Edwards?
I've seen Sonny stand in the pocket, and he's very good. He's very good at fighting on the inside as well. He just doesn't show that in his fights because he doesn't have to. And like they say, don't fix something if it's not broken. And if fighters can't get to him the way he's fighting, he's going to carry on doing that. But believe me and you, I've seen Sonny fighting in the pocket, and he's very good at doing that. So if you see him inside and he's getting the better of the exchange, maybe everyone will be surprised, but I won't, because I've seen him put in the work.
And I know Charlie said the same thing about his power when I asked him, should people be surprised if we see good looks from Sonny?
Like I say, Sonny's used to fighting on the back foot, staying out with the weight, taking away the distance. But when Sonny can plant his feet and let the shots go, you know, the kid can bang. I've seen it plenty of times in the gym. So like I say, if it happens, I won't be surprised.
All right, Dalton Smith joining us here. You saw Sonny Edwards and his team walking in moments ago. He's coming from the street straight to the stage. We will weigh in for the main event. Here's David Diamante.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome everybody here today to Glendale, Arizona, the Desert Diamond Arena for the official weigh-in for a big night of World Championship professional boxing taking place here on Saturday night. And it's now time to weigh in the main event of the evening, as Mr. Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing is proud to present 12 rounds for the unified IBF and WBO Flyweight Championship of the World. Now making his way to the stage, please welcome the undefeated Southpaw, 18-0, 11 knockouts. He was the youngest active two-division world champion Saturday night. He makes his main defense of his world title, proudly fighting out of his home of San Antonio, Texas, USA. Here is the reigning, the defending, the undefeated WBO Flyweight Champion of the World, Jesse Bam Rodriguez. And his opponent now making his way to the stage, Also undefeated. 20 fights, 20 victories, no defeats, 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Saturday night, he'll be making his 5th defense of his world title, originally from Croydon, London, and now training, living, and fighting out of Sheffield, England. Here is the reigning, defending, and undefeated IBF flyweight champion of the world, Showtime, Sonny Edwards. Edwards.
Put them in your cup so they don't fall off.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't think we was in a rush or nothing. I thought we had all the time in the world.
Now to the scale. Showtime, Sonny Edwards. 111.6, 111.6 pounds for Showtime, Sonny Edwards. And now to the scale, the undefeated Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Also 111.6, identical 111.6 pounds for Jesse Bam Rodriguez.
Both Bam and Sonny weighing in at 111.6 as we get set for this unification bout. 111.6 on the scales for both men. As Bam takes his WBO flyweight title and gets set to face off one final time, Bam Rodriguez and Sonny Edwards.
Let's go, Bam!
Jesse Bam Rodriguez, Showtime, Sonny Edwards, 12 rounds for the unified IBF and WBO flyweight championship of the world. Matchroom Boxing live on the DAZN from Glendale, Arizona.
Clean vein. Nice vein.
Well, after a 7+ minute stare down yesterday, this one lasting mere seconds. Sonny Edwards, Bam Rodriguez. This is a quick trip to the arena for Sonny Edwards. Bam Rodriguez said, hey, I want to get out of here at this point. Been waiting long enough for Sonny to get on the stage. So a quick interaction. Quick final face-off.
Tested. Just to correct the broadcaster, I was here at 12:30 as stated. When Bam was still getting the needles taken out of his arm for his drip, we had to wait an hour and a half, whatever the time is now. So just to correct the narrative, I was here on time, Bam was late, so I wait for no man. I came back when he was here.
My apologies, Sonny, I appreciate you. And the mic drop. Sonny Edwards with a strong exit on the stage as he gets set for tomorrow night's main event. Already has him with his gear 21-0 and already stating that he is the unified champ on his shirt and his pants, and we are going to be joined in a moment on set by Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Again, both men weighing in at 111.6. And we are now joined by Jesse Bam Rodriguez upstairs on the stage as Sonny Edwards continues to get dressed after our weigh-in show. Jesse, good to see you. Good to be joined with you here. I tell you what, I don't think I've seen you interact with an opponent that is giving you as much smack talk as Sonny Edwards. How are you handling it all?
I mean, I love this. This is part of the game. The tension's high. We're ready. We're both ready to fight, and come tomorrow night, I will be victorious.
I think a lot of people are wondering on like the verbal assault, right? How do you keep such a calm demeanor? How do you keep staying true to yourself?
I mean, it's just funny to me. I mean, this is who I am. It's who I always will be. Like I said before, this is just another day. Come Saturday night, I'm ready, man.
All right, what separates you from Sonny Edwards?
My mentality, my skill, everything. I got the whole package.
And will you have to be at your best tomorrow night? You've been in the ring with 2 of the 4 kings, some of the best, but are you going to have to be in your best condition?
Yeah, of course, and that's why I came 100% ready. Mentally, physically, emotionally, I'm ready to go.
Jesse, good to see you, man. Appreciate you. And good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Jesse Bam Rodriguez, Sonny Edwards, our main event tomorrow night on DAZN. It'll start off with the main card at 8 Eastern, 6 local time. Of course, you can catch us on Before the Bell beginning at 5 Eastern, 3 p.m. Mountain. For our entire Matchroom and DAZN crew, for Jesse Bam Rodriguez, for Eddie Hearn, for Dalton Smith, Charlie Edwards, Janae Boston, we will talk to you tomorrow here from Glendale. Have a great night, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, good